France loves to call itself the cradle of liberty, the land of revolution, equality, and human rights. It lectures others on colonial guilt and positions itself as the conscience of the West. But beneath that polished moral image lies the truth the world wants to conveniently forget. France never left Africa. It just changed uniforms. 14 African nations from Senegal to Cameroon still use a currency controlled by Paris, the CFA franc. Created in 1945 when France still ruled half of Africa, this colonial franc never disappeared after independence. France simply renamed it and forced its former colonies to keep using it. Even today, every one of these countries must deposit half of their foreign reserves into the French central bank. France decides how much they can print, how they spend their money, and when they can borrow. Independence on paper, but servitude in practice. And every time an African leader tried to break free, he met the same fate. In 1963, Sylvanus Olympio, the first president of Togo, was assassinated 3 days after announcing plans to abandon the CFA franc. In 1987, Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's leader, was killed in a coup backed by France's closest ally. Sankara had called the CFA a colonial currency. Modibo Keita of Mali assassinated in prison. Sekou Touré of Guinea destabilized and isolated for rejecting French control. Every time a nation tried to reclaim its sovereignty, France called it instability and the world believed it. Massacres of Algerian independence to the secret wars in Cameroon and Chad, France's empire killed over 1 million Africans. Today, French troops remain across the Sahel under anti-terror missions, but terrorism has only grown. And while French companies continue extracting gold, oil, and uranium, Niger's uranium lights up Paris, yet 80% of the people in Niger live without electricity. And when African nations demand fairness, France calls it Russian influence, as if freedom must always belong to someone else. And here lies the hypocrisy. France speaks of decolonization, tweets Free Palestine, while maintaining its own occupation of African economies. It funds humanitarian summits by day and backs resource exploitation by night. It lectures the world on human rights, but never on its own history of theft, torture, and exploitation. France loves the idea of justice, just not when it threatens its own power. So no, France didn't decolonize. It privatized its empire. It replaced armies with banks, colonies with contracts, and flags with currencies. And until Africa controls its own money, France's word about freedom and human rights will remain what they've always been, a performance.